Ave Aviators, Ave Cohort, good morning. It's been kind of a fantastically craptastical week, so we're going to see if we can't start this Saturday out a little better. We're going to do a practice strike in the F-16 today, flying the Fighting Falcon, and on the NTTR map. So let's just go ahead and dive right on into that and get started. Let's go ahead and pause it here real quick while it's loading textures, and we'll check out the old F-10 map. Broadly speaking, we're going to be taking off from Nellis Air Force Base. We're going to be flying northwest. We have a tanker and AWACS track kind of over here over Groom. And our main target area kind of out here. Now, there are some threats that are hidden from the map, but broadly speaking, we know that our objective area is a lot of the points that are out here, and it's protected by an SA-2 site and an SA-15 site. There is, however, an SA-10 suspected to be operating in the area somewhere. But we are going up with friends. We're not going up entirely by ourselves. So we've got our whole strike package here of a couple of seed flights, also flown by F-16s, and a strike flight flown at the moment by the AI variant F-15E because it's not quite time for us to have that particular toy yet. Looking forward to doing some multi-crew streaming of the F-15E once it's available for early access. But yeah, let's go ahead and dig in. We're going to go ahead and take off. We'll fly with the rest of the strike package out here to the target, make the attack, come back, hit the tanker if we need to, and then return to base here at Nellis. All told, when I've run this one before, it's run about an hour or so. So we're going to do that and see where we're at. We're going to go ahead and keep streaming and maybe change aircraft or something, and go from there. Just going through here, setting up our bingo levels to 1,000 pounds, and we're going to go ahead and align the Jehikmas. I'm not carrying Mavericks on board today, so I don't need to fret too hard about bore sighting those. And in this part of the base, it should be about 1,840 feet. And at this point, we're just watching aircraft take off and Waiting on that word aligned to flicker to let us know that we are aligned and ready to roll. Go. Set that over to main nav or master nav mode. And we are all set. Parker brakes off. Turned on our IFF system. I'm not carrying a jammer pod on board. Let's go ahead and taxi up and join our friends.
Colt 1, airborne.
Probably join the channel there for Nellis. 327. That's how it really should be, just a nice, slow, steady, separated interval. Takeoff there, just enough room to accommodate the wakes of larger aircraft leaving. Shouldn't take 30 minutes for a bunch of aircraft to leave a spot, especially with 2 runways.
Enfield 1-2, unable to clear for takeoff. Enfield 1-2, you are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 28.08.
And away we go. Yeah, let's rotate. Gears coming up. Might hit the wake of an aircraft in front of us here. Surprised, last couple times I've done that, I've absolutely run into the wakes of aircraft. Passed on the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I-15. Just going to take it out of burner here. Oh, I should also make sure we are transmitting our Link 16 information. Going to adjust some of the brightness of some of the dials here. The sun is definitely going down. I'm up to about 22,000 feet. establish our cruise. We're on our way there. Let's go ahead and set up our various systems. They are ready to go when we need them for today's mission. Good morning, Nick. Welcome back to the show. Leave ourselves in an autopilot hold. Come back a little bit on the throttle. Because this long line here is all of the other strike aircraft. Shouldn't be terribly far away from us there. Kill those lights. I do have to say that, as much as one can say, the map for Nevada is pretty accurate for Las Vegas and its surrounding areas, circa the time it was built. I mean, obviously we've got a handful more casinos that have been built up over the years, and some of them don't have their exact names that they would have, and, you know, obviously exact buildings aren't anywhere else, but, you know, I can look at a top-down view here in this map of Nellis and go, you know, yeah, that's where the commissary is, that's where the church is, that's where base housing is, the hospital, the air warfare center. I can look at the top down and go, yep, there's Craig, Cheyenne, Lake Mead, Tropicana, Flamingo, Vegas Driver Owens, Charleston. Yeah, you can tell where the streets are. They're clipping along about 320 knots indicated airspeed. Let's check our F10 map here real quick. Yeah, we're separated a little bit. The F-15's here. 3 miles. Might have to give the monitor a wipe down here in a little bit. Starting to play that game of, is it a dust mote or is it an aircraft? Yeah, that's okay. Just happy to have folks along for the stream today. Let's set our TACAN up here for the tankers, so we don't have to fret too much about that later. They're actually pretty close by too. Looks like we just passed them. We do have some threats there off the nose, including the big bird. It's a little hard to tell because they're a little jumbled off of the whole point, but probably big bird, clamshell, maybe even the flat face at this range for the multiple sites that are there. And we've used up what's in our external tank, so let's just go ahead and get rid of that. And we'll set up for the attack waypoint at waypoint 3. Bullseye should be Tonopah. Seek there coming up. And go back to the AWACS channel. Let's make sure Dark Star is able to hear us.
Dark Star 1-1 in field 1-2. Request bogey dope. Infield 1-2. Dark Star 1-1. Clean.
Let's make the had pod soy.
Colt 1 in from the southeast. Engaging Sam at Bulls 320 for 70.
Starting to pick up radars. So earlier, right when I took off, I went to this threat page here and I turned off a whole bunch of these other classes, minus a few of them. There's a pretty big reason for that. Folks who drive the Falcon pretty regularly and make use of the HAD pod understand the reasons for it, possibly, most likely. Folks who might be a little newer to the F-16 probably just want to use it as is because, oh, look, it picks things up. The pod has to search for all of the different bands of radar that are associated with those threat groups. And the more threat groups that you have it search for, the longer it takes to complete a cycle and actually update the screen. Sometimes up to a minute if you're trying to search for all of the different possible bands that something could be. And a lot of those different threats, especially the ones on the right-hand side of the panel, are Western type systems. If you know you're going someplace and you're not fighting any of those kinds of systems, you don't need to search for them, because it doesn't matter if there's a Hawk or a Patriot site or a Roland site or something out there, because those are your systems. Those are the good guys. And we're going into bad guy territory, and we don't have any friendly SAMs that are going to be nearby, so why waste the time for the pod? Taking those things off, you can get that 1.5-minute long cycle time and really bring it down to like 20 or 30 seconds. Which means that you get more accurate information out of your pod than you would otherwise. The other thing we're going to do is we're actually going to offset a little bit, because if we're flying directly at a system, it takes a lot more continuous hits for the pod to effectively geolocate what it is we're looking at, because you can kind of see where, you know, it can pick something up. It knows that there's something out there, but I can tell you that given my waypoint for my target area is up here, right now it's reading a search radar and a fire can, an anti-artillery radar, but it says that they're a lot closer. Even this big bird, it says it's a lot closer than what they actually are. And that's because I'm only looking at the one axis, because I'm flying in a straight line more or less right towards it. We're just going to go ahead and set our HUD marker off a little bit, change the autopilot so it'll turn the aircraft and put us on a nice level, even course. And now that we're offsetting from it, and the HSD pod can actually measure change, which is how that system works. Hopefully we can get some better information about where these targets actually are, so we can successfully engage them. As it is for a lot of my training missions, I do have a lot of the nicer features on. For example, I didn't bother to hide the site. And I'm not fighting other players or anything, and I'm not really trying to do anything that I'm not already used to from Gray Flag or any of the other places I fly where it hides all this information from me. I kind of want to know it's there. Same with, you know, knowing the F10 menu for all of our allies. And, you know, some of the external features for padlocking other aircraft. You know, use those expedients as little as possible, but they are there. I'm just going up to fly and have a decent time. Okay, yep, it's starting to zero in a little better. See a clamshell system out there that's going to be associated with that SA-10. Same with Big Bird. But the systems we're a little more concerned about are... That's the search radar. The fire can and the SA-2 are more our targets of responsibility. This big circle that's out here is the effective reach of the harm at our altitude and airspeed. We're starting to get decent information. Should start improving our program accuracy. It starts at 5 goes all the way down to 1. You can kind of see in the top right corner underneath the word control. That's basically the quality of our information from the pod. The pod is still not very certain on program 5 about where exactly it is, and if you fired a harm at a target in program 5, odds are you're probably going to miss. I wouldn't want to fire a harm at a target like this unless it was a program 3 or better. Three should get the weapon close enough that the automated systems on board the weapon will guide it where it needs to go. Okay, I think that's probably enough of an offset for now. We're going to go ahead and turn back on in. Also trying to give the other aircraft in the flight a chance to get themselves situated. There's the 2. And so I'm going to make him the first target I want to shoot at, so I did hit TMS up to go ahead and designate him the target. It's the target management system, I believe. Either system or switch or something like that. It's a multi-directional hat switch than the actual HOTAS that handles target management data. The other one is DMS for data management. So our resolution's improved. We're down to program 4. And the SA-10 is pointing at us. There we go, program 2. Magnum SA-2. TMS up on the fire can. Magnum fire can. And we're going to go ahead and skate a bit here to the west. Haven't been shot at yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave that autopilot on and communicate through it. It's not actually shooting at us, so it might be engaging some of the other weapons flying into the zone. That's aimed at us, though. Hey, with the fire can. Oh, sneaky, it's SA2 that shot at us. Let's give it some chaff. Alright, let's get set up to drop some bombs on these things. It's a good sound. TMS left long. Well, I got that designated. Let's see what else we got. There's the SAM site, which looks pretty well sanitized. Some other objective areas. Let's focus on our individual mission targets, which includes this particular site. Sounds like everybody else is kind of hitting their targets now, so the strike is on. Warmer, as soon as that carrot gets down into that band, we're going to be in range to drop the CBU-105, which is a sensor-fused, wind-corrected munition. It's also GPS guided, so we can really kind of work some magic over certain sites. Next sequence is going to be pretty quick, so I'll try and talk folks through it while I'm dropping the things. Getting warmer. Comes our pickle cue. Pickle. Alright, set to a new waypoint. It's going to lock it right in the center. Pickle for that. Waypoint. TMS up long. Pickle that. And now we're going to look for targets of opportunity here, which we may have to extend for, and there looks like a good group. Nice little cluster of tanks. And we could drop on him too. Alright, we've dropped all our weapons, we're good to go. All of our weapons are outbound. We're going to go ahead and reset to steer point 2. Check in with Dark Star.
1-1 in field. 1-2. Request bogey dope. 1. Kill AAA at Bulls 319 for 50. Uzi 1. Kill.
You can see our handiwork going on there. Yeah, that's good stuff. We got some bad guys to play with up here, though. Let's go ahead and take on that group. And reset to Cat 1. And since we don't need our rails anymore, we're going to go ahead and get rid of those. So now we got the full maneuverability off the aircraft for a dogfight. Two for 50. Yep, there they are. There they are. Alright, we got him and Twiz. Go ahead and get his buddy as well. Alright, they're both set up. Going ahead and bugging both targets like that means I can hit TMS right after launch and swap to my other target. Definitely want to put these guys in super close to that no escape window. My missile the best chance of smacking them out of the sky. And here we go, Fox 3. TMS right. New target. Fox 3. Try and keep them in the radar so we can give that missile the best chance and support that it needs. Shouldn't take too long to pit bull. Splash 1 bandit. Splash 2 bandit. That's it, come on. Come on, bud. Give me that growl. Fox 2. Smack. Alright, new problem though. We've definitely got another MiG-19 out here with us. 265 for 3. There he is. He's cold to us, so we gotta try and get him to turn around. And our 9X can go kill him. Looks like we are closing on him at about 240 knots and climbing. Tome is still out of parameters. Yeah, there he goes, he's going up. Fox 2. Splash bandit. Alright. We are now down to 1,700 pounds, so we definitely need to go make for the tanker.
Texaco 1-1 in field 1-2. Request rejoin. In field 1-2. Texaco 1-1. Proceed to pre-contact at 20,000 at 290.
Tanker's up at 20,000, doing 290 knots indicated airspeed. Shouldn't need a whole lot of gas, but first we're going to need to get to him. Not bad so far. I went 1v4 against farmers, which, you know, went about the way one would expect. And we are 80 miles away and have 1,400 pounds of gas in the jet. back a little bit on the throttle. Seven miles. It's a little more aggressive with the afterburner on this playthrough.
Bingo. Bingo.
Yep. Thanks, Betty. Oh, this is gonna be close.
Passing 1 is RGB at 7,000.
Okay. Five miles. Come on, sweetheart, give me them lights.
Ready for contact. Clear contact.
I've not done this a whole lot at night, so this is going to be interesting. Much prefer the old probe and drogue. Altitude looks right.
Contact.
Oh, thank God.
Return free contact.
Nope. Too far forward. At least the lights work in multi-thread now.
You're taking fuel.
It's a disconnect. Bought us another couple passes though. Oh, damn it.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Gotta be on longer than that. Too low, too far back.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Let's try and reset. Alright. We are up to 1,000 pounds. Yeah, I have more gas than we started. Thanks, Betty. Kind of want a couple thousand before we return to Nellis. Mostly for the practice. Like, I could probably make it back to Nellis on what I have. But I'm finally starting to feel a little bit of the groove. Sliding too far forward. Oh, good God, are you out of your turn yet, bud? Maybe? Make this a whole lot easier. We're super cool and out of your turn. Like you might be. Far forward.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
And immediately disconnected. Come on. Come on. Give me that gas.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Alright, 1,900 pounds is going to be enough. Glory to the boom refueler for being faster. It's going to be a lot more than enough. Okay, so let's go ahead and reset ourselves here. Set our TACAN to 12 X-ray, which is Nellis. And 3:07 a.m.
Infield 1-2 inbound.
Is it 3:07? 3:27.
Infield 1-2 inbound.
Maybe.
Infield 1-2 inbound.
There we go. Runway 21. Alright, so now I'm out of the troubled zone of refueling there. Catching up with check and everything else. Quick, alright. What I've done is I've set the TACAN to 12 X-ray, which is Nellis's TACAN channel, his beacon here. I've also set the ILS frequency to its ILS frequency, so we can get some good needles. And I set the course indicator for it for the runway that we're coming in on, 210, which should help our little multi-purpose gadget there in the bottom. HSI to help guide us in. Not that it's especially painful out right now. We should be able to see the runway lights once we get in the right spot behind the air runway. But this should set us up for runway 21 left. Starting to get good course line needles there. Solid and not dotted. And we'll try and set ourselves up for a good approach about 10 miles out, since it's nighttime. Don't need to do any fancy overhead brakes at night when you can't see anything.
Altitude. Altitude. Warning.
Enfield 1-2, cleared for visual, contact tower. Enfield 1-2, request landing.
Maybe?
Enfield 1-2, request landing. Enfield 1-2, clear to land, runway 21, wind 039, at 5 meters per second.
Little left for lineup. Pretty good though. And we're down. It's 1,400 pounds of gas to spare. It took us about 500 to get home. Realistically, we could have bypassed the tanker with the fuel load that we had and made it back with about 500 pounds, but oh no, because we got to the tanker at about 500 pounds. No, we absolutely would not have made it home if hadn't stopped for that gas stop. It's kind of a comfy feeling. It means I put this one together right if that's a thing that can happen. Try and practice all the skills. We'll park down by the Thunderbird hangar. That was my turn, yep. Actually rolled past the Thunderbird hangar just a little bit. I think it's that building there in the upper right. That way. Check it out here in just a moment as soon as I park. It should be one. No. livery on it. Doesn't, I just can't see it in the dark. I need a Zeus night vision mode. Zipping around in DCS. Yeah, I do believe it is the last hangar. Or large structure building here, if I recall right. At least it's close to this spot. I'm sure somebody on the internet who finds it wrong will correct me. But yeah, that'll finish out this F-16 mission. And since it's early enough, go ahead and pop out of this one. Make a couple of quick little edits here. Once this gets situated, I will go for a brief ad break for the folks that are watching, all two of you. Thank you. And make myself another cup of coffee, hit the restroom, that kind of deal. And then we'll get up and fly some more. Just want to make sure that we are in the game there. There we go. All right, so let me take this brief moment, hit the restroom, do the things, and run a brief 1 minute ad break and take care of that. So be right back. Alright, and we're back. Let's go ahead and get this this road on the show, shall we? As it were. Alright, let's turn our head tracking back on. And unpause.
Chief, connect ground air supply. Copy. Chief, turn on the ground power. Ground air supply is now connected. Copy. Ground power is now on.
Yep. Closing canopy. Check.
Let's get these engines cranked.
Roger.
Springfield 1, airborne. Chief, disconnect ground air supply. Chief, turn off the ground power. Ground air supply is now disconnected. Copy. Chief, remove the wheel chocks. Power is now off. Copy. Wheel chocks are now removed. OC-1, airborne.
Roger.
Alright, Chester's going through all the startup, so while he's doing that, and I have myself a sip of the sacred bean juice. Talking about what we're doing today. So, we are going on a strike mission. It's similar to the one, I think it's the exact same one we did the other day. We're going to take off from the carrier, fly into Israel, and actually, we're not going to fly. Well, we might clip the corner of Israel, but we'll get into Lebanon. Fly down this this little ravine, and there is an encampment with an outpost and some scuds and some fuel trucks that we need to strike, and we're going to be doing that with Snake Eyes tonight, whenever that works out. That said, as we go in there and we start setting things off, it's possible we might see a response from Meza or Damascus, and we might have to deal with that and then get out over the water, hit one of the S3s for refueling if we need it, and return back to the boat. There is another strike going on. The Hornets are going to be taking care of that. There's a couple other Tomcats that are up for cap duty both northern and southern, to try and protect the boat while we go out and do what we're going to do. But should be good, low altitude at night. Definitely below mountaintop level.
We're ready to taxi.
All right, Jester. It's very important you don't suck today. Let's go ahead and taxi on up to Catapult 1. Wings auto, flaps coming down. Controls look nice. Kneel the aircraft. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. Pushing up to full military power since we're in a B model Tomcat. He's back off the afterburner there, and pinky switch up for the lights. And away we go. Flaps coming up, gears coming up. Clearing turn is done. And since it's case 3, it's just going to be a continuous climb. We're going to use Mother 090 for the radio to get out. As we come up to 7 miles, we'll turn to try and intercept the 10-mile radial around the boat. We're more or less going to do that by trying to keep that tack and needle just about there. But the boat is off our right wing. And at this point, we're basically flying a large circle around the boat until our HSD course line comes up and aligns itself, which tells us we are on our proper departure radial. Which we're coming up on now. And there we are, we're now free and clear to navigate. Alright, so now we got to fly to our first waypoint, which should set us up right for where we need to be. I'm not going to instruct Jester yet to get super detailed with the weapons, because he does seem to have a problem where if you give him 15 minutes of not dropping anything, he will assume things are fine and resafe the weapons. Can at least tell him to go ahead and select our snake eyes. Yeah, we got a little bit of time before we get to where we need to be. Again, we are basically flying to just about here, and then we're going to start our run between these two mountain ridges to attack our target. Pretty straightforward, all things to gold. Some fun things about the air-to-ground mode. If you're dropping bombs, the TCS, the camera, it's underneath the Tomcat's nose. That kind of little pointy part right there in front of the cockpit. That camera will point itself to where the expected release point is in CCIP mode. You can also kind of use it to look around a little bit, try and find your target in different computer bombing modes and things like that. Snake eyes may not be quite so helpful because you should be low enough and close enough to see your target. But it could be a little more helpful in some of the CCRP modes at higher altitudes. So you can kind of pick the target you're supposed to be blowing up. If I had laser guided bombs on board and a targeting pod, he would switch to the targeting pod and pull that up for us. "35 miles to go to the first waypoint. I'm going to dim that a little better. We'll probably have to adjust it again once I put the nods on. But we are very much feet dry. Tasty, tasty coffee. One of the ones that we've talked about before, not mod-wise, but scripting-wise, is that we do have a splash damage script in play because DCS models splash damage in the most anemic way possible, which makes a lot of bombs more or less completely ineffective. So the splash damage script you can get on GitHub. Just do a search for it in the DCS forums. You should be able to pull it up.
At 2 o'clock and dirt 3 o'clock.
Running for this particular mission. I haven't played with it for a few weeks now. I can absolutely say I can kind of like it. And thank you, Chief, for finding that one for us. Does seem to make bombs a little bit more capable like they should be. One doesn't expect to drop a 2,000-pound bomb adjacent to a tank, but not directly on a tank, and then have the tank drive away without so much as a scratch. So, nice little enhancement there. Be nicer if they were able to simulate things like mobility kills and things of that sort. But alas, DCS is still working on a 23-year-old code base, so things just haven't caught up yet. Alright, we are about 8 miles out from this waypoint. We're going to go ahead and have Jester set himself up for
Yes, sir.
our initial.
Switching to initial point.
put the glasses on here for a minute because we should have our pretty large lake as a reference point. And we'll get ready to start the run. Wings are set to 50, so we are in bomb mode. There's our lake. So we're looking good. Let's go ahead and get him set up.
Copy.
And make sure that we got our snake eyes set. Set our fuses for nose and tail. I want to ripple all 8 bombs off. I want their ripple distance to be pretty short.
You
Go
got it.
33 feet. And let's drop down a little lower. Trick with snake eyes is that you're not doing any dive bombing. It's absolutely level and very low altitude. And fast. If you know your target's got some air defenses associated with it, you kind of want to roll into the target so you could be on it quickly, release, and then get off. So you're trying not to expose yourself to... Oh, MiG-23s are taking off. Aldemir. 4 miles out, we're going to go ahead and have Jester reset us to the actual surface target.
Roger. Switching to surface target.
It's 22 miles more distant and slightly left. I think I could see their campfire there just to the right and a little high of the flight path marker. And knowing we got fighters there, and keep it in full military power, but not afterburner. I don't want to betray my position to anybody lounging about on the ground. Alright, we're in for the run. Definitely see the bright light of the fire and the NVGs. Keeping it nice and low. About 500 feet based on that alarm. Coming up on the drop. Looking good. Feeling good. Let him have it. It looked pretty good. We'll check on that in a minute. We got new problems. New problems we're going to have to deal with before we go home. That said, though, we'll take a quick peek in the F11 view.
We've got nails on our 12.
Zero, 89, 40.
Yeah, that looks like we killed it.
There is a Bandit 2 ship, Ra, 150, 38 miles.
Let's screw with their radar.
Okay.
Let's turn the music on.
Whoa, I got dirt at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, a little bit of separation would be good there, guys. Most excellent.
Wilco.
Let's take the guy at 29 miles.
Got locked. Target, 28 miles.
I'm going to start the cooling off there for the sidewinders while we got some distance. And if I do need them, we'll be ready to go. The Tomcat does model the limited amount of cooling juice on it, which, you know, it is a little substantial. I think you get a good couple hours out of it. And so most folks are like, oh, I've never had to do that one before. Yeah, now if you fly longer duration missions especially, you don't want to start with the coolers on. Because you could get to a point where you need them,
17 miles.
and then they're dead on the rail.
Spike on our nose, 12 o'clock. He's on our nose, Spike, 12 o'clock.
Yep, right on time. Let's defend from his weapon. Which for an R-24 does not take much. Even do that kinematically. There's a word that's a little rougher to say. And that missile should be defeated, so let's go ahead and turn back around. It's our fuel state. Yeah, we're down to 13,000 pounds. Let's get rid of those bags.
Roger. Tanks are gone.
Alright, Flogger, you done? Is it my turn now? I think it's my turn now. Let's get him in PAL. Fox 1.
Target, 3 miles. Okay, we're on.
Splash Bandit.
Splash. 380, keep it coming. 410. Roger.
Alright, what do we got? What do we got? Too specific.
Roger.
52 miles.
I've got a lock.
That matches what the AWACS is telling me.
Target, 47 miles.
try and get the drop on him. Go for a little bit longer range shot at higher altitude. Plus, he'll have to come up after us to meet us if he wants to fight.
Target, 38 miles. Target, 28 miles.
Fuel's looking good still.
Spike, 12 o'clock, dead ahead. Target, 18 miles.
Let's make him twitch. Fox 1. Yeah, he's defending. Which is what we want. I wanted to put him on the defensive, even if this missile does not hit him.
Target, 9 miles. Splash.
But it did. He's dead. He's an 18-mile shot or so. It's not bad at all.
I lost lock. Wilco.
Alright, well, that taken care of. We'll go ahead and put the weapons back to cool. Or back to no cooling, rather. Master arms off. Now we're going to go ahead and cruise out towards the tanker. And get Jester set up to communicate
Copy.
with said tanker. Sounds like we provided adequate protection for our Hornet bros.
There is a friendly 4-ship, Bra 275, 78 miles, Angels 18.
Okay, 74 miles. No, 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 do, 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 do. 57 miles to go. Probably don't need the gas, but again, these skills don't just degrade, they erode, and they erode fast. So, usually a good idea, even if you don't need the gas and you've got something like that in the mission, go hit the tanker, even if you're just going to get on it for a second and go, yep, 1,000 pounds of gas, and then leave. Just keep current. Never know you're going to be on gray flag or survive long enough and hog it or whatever that you might actually need more fuel, so practice makes perfect. Morning, Chief. Coffee, the breakfast of champions. Green Mountain Blend, breakfast blend. Got a nice little light roast going. I tend to drink light roast in the morning and darker roast in the afternoon if I have a second cup like that. For the flavor. Alright, we should probably let the tanker know we're going to come get some gas.
Texaco 1-1, in field 1-1, request rejoin.
I'll just want to show up behind it and be like, pretend I'm an F-111 and just give me fuel silently. Bonus points to whatever reference that might be from. Only other hint that I will provide is think Aardvark. Go ahead and descend. Do 20,000 feet. And set the wings to 50. And again, for those playing the home game, one of the reasons why we do bomb mode in the Tomcat for refueling, which, especially if you're not super proficient at it, is going to help you immensely, is as a swing wing aircraft driven by a computer with a swing logic, the Tomcat's wings will subtly move forward and backwards, forward and aft, with changes in airspeed, which if you're trying to get behind a tanker and you've trimmed yourself out trying to get down to, virtually hands-free or very light pressure level flight, trying to do the precision thing of getting in behind the tanker. Those subtle changes, even just a degree or two forward or a degree or two aft, could change the center of lift of the aircraft, which will cause you to oscillate as you get more lift and pitch up, or less lift and pitch down. So you kind of do one of those weird looking sine waves in the sky where you're trying to get behind this hose that is unmoving. So, you know, if you fix your wings at a given level, whatever's comfortable for you. Now, if the tanker's flying especially slow because somebody went and put it at 300 knots ground speed, and the reality of the matter is it's doing 210 knots through the sky with its flaps down and its nose pitched up 10 degrees, barely clipping through the air, you might need to actually manually fix your wings for virtually full open in order to maintain your position and everything else. But the trick is to try and avoid those oscillations as best you can by telling the wings, no, I don't want you to move at all. So that way I can control my my pitch position behind the tanker with a little bit of throttle. Stay connected. To 12 miles away from, and we should probably turn our lights on, get them flickering, and turn our anti-collisions on. So far it's been a good day. Did the long-range strike in the F-16 as part of a larger strike group. Got gas with 300 pounds in the tank off a boom. And here we are at night. Just did a low-level snake eye pass over an installation. Shot down 2 MiG-23s with Sparrows. And now we're going to go get gas from the worst tanker of them all. The Viking. Yep, with a very short and fairly inflexible hose and a tiny ass little aircraft, it is a pain in the ass to tank off of the Viking. Not impossible. Some of the ops that we've flown with Pantheon before, like our first Operation Desert Storm Syria mission that we did, which we had arms limits set for 1991, and I set the date for January 17th, which was apparently new moon. So super pitch black, even with the night vision goggles on, really didn't help because there wasn't a whole lot of moonlight to augment. But still managed to grab the tanker and get gas for an almost 600 nautical mile flight into Iraq from middle of the ocean there near Cyprus. Well, middle of the sea rather, because it's the Med. So it is very much possible, but a little fraught, a little challenging. Right, let's see if we can find this guy.
That's a buddy.
Sure is, Jester.
That's a friendly. Target, 2 miles.
2 miles. Yep, that's the one we want. That's our guy. I'm just going to check my message history here real quick because I didn't write it down because I've been talking to y'all. 260 knots. Alright, so he's going to be a little slow. On top of everything else. Closing in on 1 mile. He should be popping his lights on here in a minute. Diminutive though they might be. We'll try and do the right thing and form up on his left. Get ourselves situated.
Friendlies, S3, 4 o'clock, 2 miles.
And then slip from the observer position into the refueling position. And grab some gas. Cool, buddy.
I lost lock.
Little speed demon trying to get up to him. Alright, let's go ahead and dim our HUD up. Try and make this a little easier. And we'll approach again as proper. Okay, so in this observer spot, this is really the good time to try and trim the aircraft out for the airspeed that you're going to be flying and get situated. Now we're going to go ahead and try and connect. Surprised he gave that to me on the first pass. Okay, so the things that make the S3 a little difficult to deal with is this super short hose. There's not really a whole lot of playroom that you can get out of it.
Little right.
Which means that you basically have to stay in a very narrow set of parameters
I felt turbulence, I swear.
while trying to refuel, whereas with the 135 you can get a little playroom on it. You can push forward a little closer to the nacelle. The hose has a little bit more freedom to move up and down. You don't have to fly quite so perfect.
Just a bit to the left.
In order to maintain your position.
We're in. Thank you, tanker. We love you.
Plus a lot of my own visual markers are off because,
Fuel 10,000.
well, he's small. I can't just keep the nacelle in that 12 o'clock position and have it work quite so well because it's a much smaller nacelle and a much smaller wing.
Right.
That said, with 10,000 pounds of gas, we could probably sit in the pattern for a little bit.
Ease it in.
But we'll go ahead and try and hit him again while he's in the turn. Just for the practice. If you're coming in on a recovery tanker because you've got practically no gas and need to be able to go around and get it again, you need to be able to really kind of hit this thing the first time every time. So practicing while you don't need the panic-filled safety margin is a good thing.
We're in. Thank you, tanker. We love you. Fuel 12,000.
Okay, that's going to be much more than enough. Alright. And then we would reform, right?
You almost had it, man. We've got what looks like a friendly two-ship, Bra, 300, ah, damn, that's wrong, 160, 43 miles.
Really,
Angels
Jester?
9.
Really? Alright, let's go ahead and climb up a little bit, get out of the tanker's way. And reset everything for going home.
Copy. Okay.
"27 miles to the boat." We are well within his ATC range, so let's just go ahead and call that one in.
Angels 22.5, state 12.0.
Adjust my trim again. Okay, final bearing of 5. Let's go ahead and get that set up. Marshall on the 185. Actually, we're really close to where we want to be. Just high. But like a lot. What was our DME again? Message history. 47, Angels 9. So we need to descend to 9,000 feet, and we should be commencing 47 minutes past the hour. We got a little bit of time to chill out in the pattern.
Established Angels 9, state 11.8.
Again, we got an obscene amount of gas for what we need to do. Our lights are on, our hook is down, set up and configured for landing mode. Final course bearing is set, lights are on. Okay, looking good. Okay, so now it's just a matter of flying at our best conserved speed, hanging out with everybody here for a minute. All 5 of you. Thanks for watching today, everybody. Definitely appreciate all of that. And then we'll hit our push time and call back into the boat and make our way down. Pretty good time so far. We managed to blast all of our targets with that snake eye pass. I think we even got the outpost this time. And shot down the 2 floggers with no real problem. Using sparrows. Some of you might be curious a little bit about the new arms limitations that have been in effect since a patch or 2 ago for Heapler on the Tomcat, mainly referring to the Phoenix here. As before, you used to be able to put Phoenix on the glove stations and a full load of sparrows in the trench, but you can't really do that anymore. And a lot of the reason for that is that all of the cooling systems and whatnot for the Phoenix missile are actually stored in the forward. What is it, stations 3 and 5? 3 and 6. 3 and 6. The glove vanes for that stores all of that cooling equipment, so no matter where you put Phoenixes on the aircraft, you have to have those glove vanes on it if you want to put them on the pylons. You can't just put them on the glove stations themselves alone. So you can bring bombs up there as long as it's got the the little extra pallet pack. You can bring other Phoenixes in there, but if you're looking to do 4 Sparrows, 2 Phoenixes, that's really not a loadout you're going to be able to ever do. Best you're going to be able to get is 3 Sparrows and 2 Phoenixes. Put the 2 Phoenixes on the stations 3 and 6, and then a single Sparrow. I think it's on station 4. Yeah, station 4. And then Sparrows on the gloves. Oh, am I on the wrong side of the boat? Might be on the wrong side of the boat. Sure am. So in order to make the push time, we're going to burn some gas. Good thing we got some. Nice little supersonic cruise to get back into position, right? I don't think we have our LSSS light on the back of the boat anymore either, still with multi-threading. Thanks DCS, real cool. lineup light is very, very helpful. It should be the Tico up front. And the boat a short distance behind it. Plus side though, we're going to get super light for coming back to the boat. So we got that going for us. And there's bingo. As long as you don't fly jets like a numpty, you can actually get a lot of mileage out of 4,000 or 5,000 pounds of gas. Chief has ridden in my back seat with me where we've had to come back 110, 112 miles or so on 2,500 pounds after having gotten into a dogfight. Is definitely possible. Just have to not fly at full military power afterburner or super low altitude or whatever. Get a little bit of air, get yourself some altitude, pull the throttles back to the point where the aircraft will comfortably fly in a straight line and no further. And adjust as needed. Those fuel flow gauges are super helpful for trying to calculate how much time you got left on station. For example, 3,900 pounds, I'm doing less than 3,000 pounds per side per hour. So I've got somewhere between 25 and 30 minutes worth of gas on board the aircraft right now, flying at this speed. I know what you're thinking. Okay, well, what if you shut one engine down and managed to maintain that? You could, but at this particular throttle setting, it would not be either efficient or comfortable, and you'd almost have to counter it by revving the engine up to about 6,000 pounds or so per hour. Possibly. I mean, you might be able to get just a little bit more economy out of it for shutting one down over the other, but at that point, it's just as easy to go hit the damn recovery tanker and grab another 1,000 pounds. All right, let's go ahead and turn back around. And we should be able to commence on this pass. Just gonna overshoot it a little bit so we can get ourselves lined up as best we can. Give it a little bit of extra throttle. We lost some altitude there. Promise there is actually a carrier out here in the dark somewhere. Got about a minute to go.
Commencing state 3.7. Altimeter 29.93.
215, radar contact, 23 miles. Expect final bearing 5. 215, switch approach.
215.
All right, kids, here we go.
215. Checking in 22 miles. 215. Approach. Final bearing 215.
Now descending. Try and maintain about 4,000 feet per minute, give or take. To 5,000 feet, and then we'll call platform.
Platform. 215. Roger.
And now we'll ease back off to about 2,000 feet per minute. Since it's a B model cat, we're not going to use the speed brake on the final approach phase. We may need it to go ahead and get underneath our airspeed limits there for the gear and the flaps. Nose is down, mains are down. Whoa. It's me not paying attention to my altimeter. Got way low. Still 12 miles away from the boat. Pick ourselves back up. We'll fly the needles because we're getting into about 10 miles. There's our instruction to go ahead and fly the actual cross. Down to about 200 knots, flaps are coming down. Put our goggles on here. DLC is set. Way above glide speed, and we are a little fast. Or glide path, rather. Let's try and get ourselves situated for AOA and our needles.
Friendly, Hornet, 7 o'clock high, 4 miles.
Yeah, without the LSS light, I'm just going to go ahead and let the ACLS take care of that. Okay, fly mode 2. We'll go and we'll use the ACLS toward the last little bit of the flight. Yeah, they've got to fix some lighting issues there with the multi-threading, because that light, the LSS light, should be visible from all the way out from like 30 miles plus. To say nothing about the runway lights for the boat itself inside of 10 miles. I know. The easy solution is to just go ahead and use single threading, but I like the performance enhancements for multi-thread. So I think DCS should just fix their nonsense for multi-thread. Makes the most sense. 2025 will be a good year. We'll get a whole new WAGS video about an F-16 livery. It'll be like 4 minutes long. Alright, I can't wait for you to call me a wave off and tell me that I'm entirely too slow because I'm coming in slower than the Hornet you think I am, LSO.
bust open the canopy there.
Surprised you didn't, Jester. Surprised you didn't. Okay, DLC is set. Let's try and turn back in for it. Probably should have slapped that DLC paddle a little sooner, to be honest. Because she is super floaty at 3,000 pounds. Alright, let's do all the work ourselves this time. Ugh, one wire.
Oopsie, that was a one wire.
A little short. But we're home. Okay. We'll go watch the tack views here on both of those flights. I'm going to go ahead and run a minute-long ad while I'm getting set up for that. So it'll be just a moment. And then I'll have to call it a day and get ready to run a couple of errands here. So let's go ahead and get this ad rolling and we will take a look. Alright, so we're back. Hope that wasn't too painful for folks. We're just going to use TACView here and review our flights from today. We're going to start with the one on Nellis, our long-range strike, the F-16. Oops. Yeah, I actually made a very nice, very smooth, steady stream of everybody taking off, and we joined in at the back of the line. Everybody kind of hit their elevation levels there. You see my head tracking, going all over the damn place. Cruised past the tanker. Which I know it looks like we got pretty close, and we did, but we had plenty of separation, so we're good. Once the F-15's available, I'll probably trade those out for player-driven aircraft too. I don't know what he did. Just AI things. It's our first offset earlier while we were using the HS, the HAD to geolocate those those SAM sites a little better. I know I listed it as an SA5 site. It was originally going to be an SA5 site, but the faction I put them under doesn't have SA5s. They had 10, so it became an SA10 site. Throw our harms into the fray. They're shooting down all those harms. We managed to hit the fire can site, but not the SA2, unfortunately. What did it get intercepted by? Oh, one of the SA-10's missiles. Looks like the fire can site tried to shoot it down, though. But couldn't. But at this point, we were skating away because we were getting shot at. Got outside of the SA-2's weapons. Arms are being thrown all over the place. The F-15s are dropping JDAMs now. JSOWs are going out. And this is our 105 drop, where I just used the waypoint, bugged it with TMS up, next waypoint, TMS up, next waypoint, TMS up. And then for the fourth bomb, I actually searched for a target real quick in the pod. And I found one pretty quick, so I got the fourth bomb off too. And at that point, since I had nothing left for ground ordnance, we were on our way out the door. And we can kind of see the results of that handiwork here. Mr. F-16 is very brave and foolish there to be throwing himself in at low altitude for a gun run. Yep, here comes our CBU 105s. Throwing all their parachute munitions out, sensor fused. Gonna go out and kill these tanks. Many delete. Oh God. And here comes the JSOW swarm. But at that point, we were already on our way out. And at some point, I look back over my shoulder. Oh, no, that's when I was getting back to the actual fight. As we do the air engagement next. And JSOW's cluster munitions are getting in there and cleaning stuff up. I think the F-15s are still going to be prosecuting that for a minute or two. But back to us. That's what it's about here this morning. Gotta go smack some farmers. And we do our Twiz launch with a pair of 120s. Again, just as easy as TMS up on the first target, TMS up on the second target, and TMS right between shots to cycle between the two. AMRAMs go pitbull, smacky smacky. At this point, I was already looking at this guy, I think. No, we merged with him. It's this guy I'm staring at because I can see my head tracking cross pointing out that way. And we go ahead and give him the beans with a 9X. Boop. He's done. And apparently when this guy merged, he just decided I'm going to go ahead and turn and leave. Maybe he lost track of me or whatever, but AWACS found him pretty well separated from me. Which gave me the course heading I needed and went, okay, cool, there he is. Let's go and floor it, put it in afterburner. You can tell we're burning 47,000 pounds of gas per hour. We've only got 2,000 pounds left in the tank, just about 2,500 pounds. So we can't do this for long, but we go ahead and press it anyway. We get close enough, he spots us again. Probably with the afterburner wake, but 9X doesn't care. Boop. Air threats are gone. All right, cool. Now it's time to go home. But alas, gas is looking low and Nellis is looking far. So let's go get some. 800 pounds, 700 pounds, 600, 500. 450, 460. Three. Oop. This is our first connection to the tanker, I guess. Watch how fast that fuel flow is off a 135 boom. The rigid hose, and one of the reasons why the Air Force uses the boom tankers is their first job was refueling SAC bombers like B-52s, B-47s, things like that. And that rigid pipe in the back of the boom allows for a much faster pressure, or much higher pressure rather, to refuel a large bomber over a shorter period of time. which has the added benefit of, you know, being able to refuel a small fighter much faster too. Trying to fight our way back into position here. Let's see how low I was when I first connected, because I missed that. Yeah, like 350 pounds. And then we got hooked up for a very small period of time, just a few seconds, but it was enough to pick up another 150 pounds and give us another shot. This one we connected for quite a bit longer, I think. Say that like it wasn't just a few extra seconds, because we got up to 700 pounds. And then, of course, he gets into the turn. I think I actually hooked up with him in the turn at somewhere during that too, but it wasn't until he got back to level flight that I hooked up for a much longer period. There we go, up to 800 pounds. 1,000 pounds. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now we can just get him in a straightaway. Oh, this is at night. I'm just kind of looking for the little lights of hope. Oh, yeah, just in time for somebody else to show up who is probably as fuel starved as I am. Or more. Because he just punched out. There we go, 1,900 pounds. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. I've got enough. We're going home. Got ourselves our ILS approach. Nice gentle sink rate. A little bit of aero braking. Nose wheel comes down. And we taxi out into the flight. Let's go ahead and pull up the F-14 one. Oops. Everybody shoots and scoots. Again, here we are at night, and we're getting ready to come in for the trench run. There's our lake, which yeah, I think right here. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong side of the aircraft. We peeked at it for a minute because we knew it was there. You can tell when I'm accessing the gesture menu. Telling him to get all the ripple patterns up and ready to go. Focusing on our little campfire that we saw from way out there. The MiGs have taken off. They're on their way to try and intercept me. But they can't see me right away. So I'm down below those mountains, so they don't immediately come after me. And let's see how we did with our drop. Here come the snakes. Oh, that's beautiful. Got everything that pass. Last time we flew this one, I missed the outpost itself in one of the early trucks. This time we actually got it all in one group. 8 bombs, all on target, 100% hits. But we're not done yet because we've got a couple floggers coming in to try and mess with us. Come up to their altitude. Sorting them out. Got my jammer on. Fires at me and I say, no thank you, not today. Turn the jammer off. And the R-24 is already out of gas. Self-destructs. Get rid of the bags. He fires again. I say, no thank you. And then I say, I think it's my turn now. Go and put ourselves up in a, how many G turn? 8.9, 9.1. I didn't quite pull 10 or 12 like I usually do there. We come out of our Immelman. Give him the beans with an aim 7. Caught him in POW real quick. He goes on the defensive, but is not as fortunate as I am. Splash Bandit, down he goes. Second bandit, we actually shot at him at much longer range. I think I pulled the trigger at about 18 miles and he closed to about 16 before it actually left the rail. And I mostly just wanted to throw him on the defensive with this shot. But apparently he didn't study the Gulf of Sidra incidents, plural, back in flogger school. Because I dragged him up higher and slower than he wanted to be, and he lacked the energy to get away from this one. Bonk. Splash Bandit. So, it is possible to get a Sparrow shot to have over something other than BVR. It can happen. Just have to believe. And then we're going to go get gas from the S3. The reason why I put 4 of these aircraft in here too, just to kind of throw this one out there for any folks that are doing kind of mission builder, mission edity type stuff. The AI don't think at all about certain things. And one of the things that they definitely don't think about is getting gas from a tiny tanker like an S3 or, eventually something like a KA6 or similar. Probably even buddy stores off of an F-18 if we can get ourselves a Rhino or something later on in life. And that is, the AI logic is if I'm below my bingo state and there's a tanker that's within range that I can go get gas from, I should connect to the tanker and refill my tanks completely. Well, the S3 does not have a KC-135's or even a KC-130's fuel availability. So it is entirely possible for a single Hornet with a couple of bags to go, oh damn, I'm down to 4,000 or 5,000 pounds of gas and I need a whole lot more to fly this other 50 miles back to the boat because I don't know how to use throttle control at all, ever. So I need to connect to this S3 and go ahead and pull, another 9,000 pounds or so to refill my 3 bags so I can have 19,000 pounds getting back to the boat. So he'll just pull right on up to the S3 and go, yep, I need gas. And then the S3 goes, I'm at bingo, I got to stop. I got to go home now. I put 4 tankers here in the hopes that, it would stop some of that. And they all have the, No, actually, these guys didn't have a recovery tanker logic associated with them because they're not orbiting super close to the boat. They were just up here to actually provide tanker services, but knowing that I'd be hitting these tankers on the way home, I only needed a couple thousand pounds, and I wanted to practice with the S3, so I put them up. We actually connected on the first time. This S3 after we overshot him a little bit. Out of position, put the fuel probe out, and boop. Getting some gas, thank you, tanker. Fell out of the basket a couple times. Got up to about 12,000 pounds of gas, which was good because we used it. Disconnected, reformed right. Pulled up and away so I can get out of the way of his fellow flight members. I went, oh yeah, no, I'm just about in the right spot where I want to be, except I was pointed in the wrong direction. I was like, cool, let's floor it, get back to where we need to be on this side of the boat. And by that time, we only needed to do the one turn. And we were hitting our push time, so we started the commence. And somewhere about right here is where I lost track of where I was until it was almost too late, and the altimeter beeped at me and said, oh yeah, no, that's bad. Get ourselves back kind of where we need to be. Again, if I had the LSS beacon, it wouldn't look so damn wobbly. Because the LSS, the laser on the back of the boat is amber when you are within a ½ degree of center line where you need to be to come down. So if you're seeing amber all the way down, that's good. And then as you progress port or starboard, it will either go red or green to tell you what direction you need to correct. And if it's solid, you are within like 3 to 5 degrees of where you need to be, so you're very close. And as it begins to blink faster at first to let you know you're a little further out of parameters, and then slower when you are kind of way out of parameters, it kind of tells you where you need to be so you can help line that up and maintain your alignment all the way down. It's something that can help you out, like following your needles all the way down, especially because generally speaking, when you're flying the carrier pattern back to the boat, there are points where you will be on purpose below or above the glide slope, and then you will intercept the glide slope and come down. So having that light not functioning right now in multi-thread means, you know, when I'm back this far away from the boat and it's pitch black and I can't see a damn thing as far as the deck lighting for the boat, what I would be looking for is that light to try and clue me in as far as, you know, I'm where I need to be, I'm on glide slope, I'm not on the glide slope, I'm slipping left or right. You know, it's a major help. But anyway, we come through here and we are super low on gas at this point. We're like 3,000 pounds, maybe a little less. Remember, it's like 3.4 or 3.6 or something when I called in for the Tomcat ball. And we go way over the wires by a lot. Like the main landing gear touches down here, well past the 4 wires, so that hook didn't even have a chance. I needed to touch down like here, somewhere in this spot here to catch the 3 wire. So I'm a whole plane length in front because I floated it the last little bit. So up and at him. It's not a perfect case 3 bolter pattern, it's not even close. Well, I guess it is for the 2-mile approach. Normally you'd push out another couple miles or so and slip back in, especially if you got multiple aircraft that are all coming back down. But since it's just me, we can prioritize ourselves there in the traffic. This one I flew manually. And I touched down way early because we hooked a 1-wire. And I think it was an in-air engagement too, if I recall the little trap sheet report. So somewhere right about here is where the hook actually grabs that wire. And then we touch down. And then we let it go, pull over, come over, stop, turn off all the things, and talk about how I'm going to go to the attack view and watch that because I've got some errands I need to go run. So that'll wrap it up for today, at least for this morning. I don't know what other things I might get into later on this afternoon after errands, but after this week, I'm done with a whole lot of brain fuel. I need some me time because it's been a rough week at work doing the day job nonsense. I'd rather be doing this kind of stuff all the time, but I need more subscribers for that. So, the more money I can get, the more often I could be here to do this instead of going to work and slaving away. We're working on that slowly but surely. It's a process. And I thank you guys and love you guys so much for what you do when you watch, how you support, how you help out. Good stuff. But since I was going to wrap it up here for now, let's go ahead and close this out with my usual. Always ask for consent. Communicate with your partners. Generally try to be good people. And we will catch up with you next time. Thank you, cohort. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you again soon.